worry or stress around family side of things, that does overwhelm me quite a bit. But in terms of, doing the job and things like that, I don't feel too overwhelmed by that.
Princess Catherine has experienced a lot. During the previous year, however, nobody noticed this. Arriving recent reports state that Prince William with King Charles have formally verified the devastating information about her.
I'm so proud of my wife and my father for how they've handled all of last year.
More concerning is the fact that it occurs after she had previously gone into remission earlier this year.
Princess Catherine shared today her cancer is in remission. She made the announcement on Instagram along with a picture of her visit to the hospital where she had been treated.
The public is astonished, disappointed, and full of inquiries. What is this devastating update then? Moreover, why are William and Charles speaking up now? Come, learn the heartbreaking news regarding Princess Catherine that King Charles and Prince William have verified. Princess Kate Middleton's terrible news. In a recent interview, Prince William revealed that Princess Catherine, his wife, is going through a difficult time as she continues to heal from cancer.
Yourself, it won't happen to us. We'll be okay. But when it does happen to you, then it takes you into some pretty not great places.
He voiced optimism, stating that things appear to be going in the right direction. He did acknowledge, though, that 2024 has been the most challenging year for them as a relationship.
What was the hardest year I've ever had? Life is sent to test us as well, and being able to overcome that is what makes us who we are.
However, aside from William's affirmation, it was the surprising remark made by King Charles that genuinely astounded everyone, leaving the public with more queries than responses. An official from Buckingham Palace disclosed that the monarch had openly declared his pride in Princess Catherine for having the guts to speak out. Charles the King and Camilla the Queen have continued to communicate closely with her for the duration of the experience. The palace additionally affirmed that they will keep to express their steadfast love and assistance to the whole family throughout this difficult period. In addition to the current health issue, the princess's medical background hasn't been completely seamless. Even so, there are no publicly available records of severe illnesses prior to being married. Catherine was thought to be healthy and active throughout her time at St. Andrews University and early in her adult life. She participated in sports and social activities and was renowned for her vitality. However, the initial genuine health challenge soon followed: union. And it soon showed that even a person who appears powerful and being polite in public can result in serious battles that take place in private. Her initial significant health problem during her first pregnancy in 2012. Her condition was identified as hyperemesis gravidarum, an extremely severe morning illness that results in severe nausea and throwing up. The royal declaration that Prince William and Kate, his spouse, are expecting is bringing attention to a little-known state. Among the 200 is the Duchess of Cambridge, pregnant women dealing with very extreme morning sickness. Compared to a typical morning, it was far worse. Illness, Catherine needed to be admitted to London's King Edward Hospital for therapy and monitoring. She was weak, dehydrated, and unable to maintain any food or liquids. The hospital stay attracted a lot of attention at the time, since she had recently been pregnant. And the disease made it evident that her path would not be simple. In advance, what ought to have been joyful time became unpleasant for her and Prince William when they had to maintain equilibrium, public enthusiasm for actual medical worry. Regretfully, the same condition came back with her second pregnancy in 2014-2015. Princess Catherine did not go this time to the medical facility, although she remained under close medical attention. The illness arrived, waves, and persisted over several weeks. She had to cancel a number of public events and work primarily from home. Despite this, the palace didn't provide many details, but it was obvious that she was having difficulty. The state made it challenging for her to eat or remain. She spent a lot of that time being active, resting in Kensington Palace. People who witnessed her in private gatherings later claimed that she appeared pale and worn out. However, she kept grinning for the cameras whenever she had the chance. Her will to continue working, even when sick, gained her a great deal of respect. However, many royal observers were curious. If she was overexerting herself, it would be difficult. However, she became pregnant for the third time. Didn't go as planned since unexpectedly, something occurred that no one saw coming. As soon as Princess Catherine got pregnant once again in 2017, the illness came back 3 times. Once more specifically, it was hyperemesis gravidarum. The palace made it evident this time from the beginning that she was overseeing the situation in private. She had discovered what her body responded to and depended on physicians to assist her in preventing another hospitalization. It wasn't simple. Exhaustion and severe nausea were significant in her early pregnancy with Prince Louis. Once more, she gradually recovered and proceeded to fulfill her regal duties. Later on in the year, numerous medical professionals noted that the recurrence of all 3 pregnancies had hyperemesis, demonstrated the seriousness and consistency of the it was for her. It wasn't only morning sickness. It was an actual medical battle that required attention and patience. Following her 3rd pregnancy, Catherine's health seemed to become better. From 2019 to and 2022, she exuded strength and vitality. She completed a demanding program of royal responsibilities, frequently traveled and worked on significant initiatives like her early initiative. She was observed frequently at gatherings, chuckling and interacting politely with the public. There were no formal reports of illness over these years, and she appeared to maintain a balance between her regal life and her family with ease. For her, it was a peaceful time when assisted her in rebuilding following years of health issues associated with pregnancy. However, that steadiness abruptly shifted early in 2024. Kensington Palace declared in January that the princess had experienced prepared abdominal surgery at the London clinic. According to the palace, the process was successful. But she would require multiple weeks of recuperation that the Princess of Wales had participated in any manner ill. The statement says that she was accepted into London. This clinic is located in downtown London. Yesterday, for the scheduled operation on the abdomen, she spent over 2 weeks in the hospital. It demonstrated how serious it was, more than a small procedure. In particular, the palace at the period declared that she does not have cancer. Connected. Following her discharge from the hospital, she rested at home in Windsor for some months, out of the spotlight. Next, in March, the narrative drastically changed in 2024. Within a private video message, Catherine showed that tests conducted after surgery had discovered cancer. The palace didn't reveal the cancer's kind or stage. However, she claimed that it had been somewhat shocking. She clarified that she had begun preventative chemotherapy and requested time, room, and seclusion for her family. The video was recorded in the Windsor Gardens, revealed her serene yet sentimental as she addressed the public. It was an uncommon occasion when a monarch had spoken to a private health issue in such an open manner. She expressed gratitude to the public for their generosity and stated that Prince William and she had been attempting to consider the news in private before spreading it around the world. After her announcement, Catherine avoided the spotlight. April to August, she was seldom ever spotted in public in 2024, according to reports. She was getting treatments on a part-time basis and spending most of her time relaxing at Adelaide Cottage close to Windsor. William the Prince decreased his royal responsibilities to be nearer to her and their offspring. According to palace sources, she was totally preoccupied with her health and family, keeping her everyday activities silent and easy. At this period, a lot of false online rumors circulated regarding her condition, which her team vehemently refuted. By September 2024, she gradually started going back to modest royal duties. She appeared at modest private gatherings and later participated in a few public events connected to causes that are dear to her heart, such as mental health and early childhood care health. People saw that she appeared healthier and more vigorous, but still slimmer than normal. Palace aides verified that she wasn't yet returning to a full workload, and that her recovery continued to be the first priority. By the wonderful news finally came around the middle of 2025. Catherine attested to her presence and remission. She stated that her therapy trip had been very unpredictable, yet that she felt more resilient and optimistic every day. Experts in medicine clarified that even preventive chemotherapy following remission can go on for a few months. Based on the kind of cancer, thus, it made sense that she was still slowing things down. At this time, the pair made the decision to relocate to Forest Lodge, a house in Windsor Great Park. The action was interpreted as an indication of a new starting over and returning to a typical family life. Catherine began to produce more reappearances, including a surprise meeting with the Crown Prince of Jordan, Princess Raja, and Hussein at Windsor Castle. People who observed her reported that she appeared content, elegant, and serene. In retrospect, it's evident that Catherine's path toward better health has been a tally of highs and lows. But after everything she's been through, Princess Catherine is frequently regarded as the palace is held together by a silent force. This strength is even more astounding, taking into account early public reports that her Prince William's marriage was more prepared by her, more strategically than romantically parents, as opposed to being born out of love. Equal. However, how much of that is actually true? Assert? Keep an eye out, since we're going to discover what many people were unaware of. Prince William and Princess Catherine. What many people are unaware of regarding William and Catherine. Even now, a lot of people continue to think that the marriage between Princess and Prince William Catherine was more than just a tale of love, but something that her parents had planned. Some believe that Carol, her mother, Middleton, had a covert scheme to make her daughter get to know and wed the future monarch. Although it seems dramatic, when you look closely, the truth appears to fall in the middle of coincidence and timing. The way their paths met seems nearly too flawless. However, it may have just been fate at work in the most regular manner that is feasible. The voyage of Prince William to St. Andrews the University was set up with care, however, not romantically. It concerned shaping his future as a contemporary royal. Following his time at Eton College, he took a year off in 2000 to visit and observe the world outside of the palace. He was employed in Chile, traveled to Africa, and even spent time in Bees with the British troops. William had originally intended to go to the University of Edinburgh, but subsequently he decided against it and went with the smaller and more subdued University of St. Andrews in Scotland. The royal advisors had faith that St. Andrews would allow him greater solitude and an opportunity at a typical student's life. It was a straightforward choice at the time, but it would out to be the most crucial loan of his creations. The work of Catherine Middleton, the route to St. Andrews, appeared typical as well. On the outside, but people have always questioned whether there was more to it. Born into a Yorkshire middle-class family, Kate was diligent, courteous, and aspirational. Following the completion of Marlar, she also took a year off from college. She studied and worked as a volunteer in Florence abroad. Initially, she intended to visit Edinburgh University, but then she moved her application to St. Andrews. William had just selected the same school. Some claim that she changed after learning of his intentions, but her close friends maintain that's untrue. They claim she chose St. Andrews because of its excellent reputation. However, the time was too near to overlook, and that's how the tale of a scheduled match started to spread. In 2001, William and Kate initially met. Pupils, they both pursued studies in art history and shared a dorm, St. Salvador's Hall. Initially, they were merely a member of the same social circle, spending time together, attending classes, and eating meals together. Kate was well known for being composed and compassionate, whereas William was amiable yet cautious about putting their trust in individuals. They gradually became closer and bonded, promoting common interests and a peaceful realization that came easily. Their friendship was genuine and uncomplicated. Next, came the well-known moment that everyone continues to discuss: charity. Fashion. In 2002, Kate consented to walk the catwalk in a transparent black dress. William was seated in the audience, and in accordance with, to those present, he was unable to remove his gaze from her. That was stated to be the instant he had a new perspective on her. What started off as a student event turned into a moment of change. After that day, their relationship began to shift from friendship to something greater. The next year, they both relocated to an off-campus apartment with 2 companions. They shared a flat and cooked together, gathering, sharing, and watching TV tasks similar to those of regular students. It was in this period their friendship quietly developed into a partnership. They didn't tell anyone about it, but their friends were able to tell. William appreciated Kate's treatment of him as a common person rather than a royal. Kate enjoyed how he made her chuckle and didn't behave in a superior manner. The secret was revealed in 2004. Images of William and Kate were skiing in Switzerland was released by newspapers. And all of a sudden, everyone knew who she was. For 22-year-old Kate, it was a startling shift. The media began to follow her around. However, she remained composed and refused to give interviews or respond in public. Her silence, the royal family was impressed by the behavior, particularly now that William was an adult. Observing the effects of media pressure on his Princess Diana, late mother, Kate stood because of her unwavering attitude, emerged as a reliable and powerful person. However, not everyone was compassionate. The media kept bringing up the fact that Kate shared the same ancestry. Her parents ran a prosperous party, supply business, but they weren't aristocrats. A few royal insiders hinted that William ought to get married. Someone having noble origins, not a daughter of a businesswoman. However, a lot of because she was relatable, people adored her. The rumors then started. The assertion that Kate's parents, particularly her mother, Carol, had orchestrated the romance. According to some accounts, Carol supported Kate should put off attending college for a year so she would begin at William's time. Some said she shoved her daughter to choose St. Andrews since she was aware that the prince was heading over there. These tales made the Middletons seem sociable, climbers seeking strength. However, those who truly understood the family's claim that it wasn't indeed. The Middletons were ambitious, yes, and socially astute, yet there's no evidence they had everything arranged. Kate's educational institution, she was always focused, according to her friends, on her academic pursuits, and that her encounter with William was merely a fortunate happenstance. After 6 years of dating, in 2007, William and Kate ended their relationship. He was under duress from his military service and from the continuous coverage by the media. A few claimed he wasn't prepared to make a commitment. Kate was harmed, yet she didn't crumble. She remained silent and returned to work for her parents' business and declined to speak with reporters. In fact, the audience was impressed by the silence. Her more, by the year's end, the two reconciled. William discovered he was missing her and didn't want to lose her once more. Their reunion felt more mature and serious. Friends observed that they both appeared certain about this time, their future. Kate began quietly participating in more royal events, and people started to embrace her as a member of William's existence. The Prince and Queen Charles seemed to warm up to her as well. Over the ensuing years, her serene, her solid demeanor and presence earned her a great deal of respect in the royal family. Then, in 2010, came the momentous occasion. While traveling privately to Kenya, William suggested, he presented her with his late mother's the same sapphire engagement ring Princess Diana donned. It was a heartfelt gesture that demonstrated his level of trust with her with anything so intimate. When they made their engagement public a few weeks later, the globe witnessed a contented and at ease pair. Following years of rumors and pressure from the media, they looked like two individuals who have really matured collectively. On April 29th, they were married. millions of people watched 2011 throughout the world. Middleton, Catherine, strolled down the Westminster Abbey's aisle. However, a lot have continued to discuss whether it was made possible by parents. Perhaps they did offer some advice. What parent would not urge their child to aim high? However, referring to it as an arranged match seemed to be unfair. Kate's intelligence and perseverance was much more effective. William's heart, more than any parenting scheme could ever do so. Even if Carol Middleton pushed her daughter in the direction of St. Andrews. Kate's personality was what kept William intrigued. Had this been a thoughtful action, it would have been separated a long time ago. Rather, their relationship has become more solid with time. Over time, they have developed a family, assumed royal responsibilities, and confronted collective public pressure. And as a result, many have started to draw similarities between the late Princess Diana and Catherine. Catherine, like Diana, is respected by the public, approachable, and subtly effective. This contrasts sharply with Meghan, Sussex's Duchess, whose tenure in the royal family has been distinguished by conflict and discord. However, how accurate is this comparison? How is Princess Catherine a true reflection of Diana's heritage? Let's investigate how Princess Catherine is still alive. Diana's legacy. Living up to the legacy of Princess Catherine. Diana is a remark that has never truly vanished. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Princess Catherine's journey has been one of courage, struggle, and unbelievable strength. A story that continues to inspire millions around the world. As she faces this new chapter with resilience, the world stands with her, hoping for brighter and healthier days ahead. If you found this video informative, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update about the royal family and other major global stories. Tell us in the comments, what part of Princess Catherine's journey surprised you the most? Thank you for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.